With the first quadrant filled in of the unit circle, we're just going to use the symmetric properties of a circle to fill in the rest. So first of all, notice that the circle is reflected over the x and the y axes. So let's fill in the second quadrant by reflecting all these points over the y-axis. So let me start with the right side here at 1, 0. On the left side, that would just become negative 1, 0. So that means all the x's are going to be opposite, and the y's will just stay the same. So with this 30 degrees reflected, we're going to have negative square root of 3 over 2, 1/2. Reflect the 45 degrees. So again, the x will become negative. Okay, do the same thing with the 60 degrees. Again, x becomes negative. Okay, so there's the second quadrant. We'll fill in the angles in just a few minutes. So let's fill in now the third quadrant. I'll just reflect the second quadrant over the x. So that means that all the y's are going to be opposite. So because x was already negative and the y's are going to become negative, everything's going to be negative in that third quadrant. Okay, so the first thing I'll do is reflect that top point 0, 1. This has become 0, negative 1. So again, all the y's are going to be opposite. So reflecting this top point over, y becomes negative. Okay, the next one. Okay, so that's our third quadrant. One more time for the fourth quadrant. So I'll take everything from the third and reflect it over the y-axis. So that means all the x's will turn back to positive and the y's will stay negative. So reflecting. Okay, so now it's positive square root of 3 over 2. Still negative 1/2. Okay, underneath that, we'll have positive square root of 2 over 2. Still negative square root of 2 over 2. And then positive 1/2, negative square root of 3 over 2. Okay, so there's the fourth quadrant. We have all of our ordered pairs. So now what we need to do is fill in the angles. So looking back at the first quadrant, the first dot represented 30 degrees, and then it went 15 degrees, followed by 15 degrees, then it went 30 again. So the first one in the second quadrant is going to go 30 degrees. So if we have 90 degrees at the top of the circle, add 30, now we have 120. Then add 15, 135. Add 15 again, and then add 30. Okay, so 30, 15, 15, 30. So 180, add 30, so 210. Add 15. Add 15. And then add 30. Okay, one more time, add 30. Add 15. Add 15. And then add 30, so then we're back where we were, which is 0 degrees, or could be considered 360 degrees. Okay, to find the radians, it's a little bit trickier. So let me start with the first quadrant, and converting these 30, 45, and 60 into radians. 30 degrees is pi over 6. 45 degrees is pi over 4. 60 degrees is pi over 3. Okay, so every 30 degrees that we move, we're moving pi over 6. Every 45 degrees that we move, we're moving pi over 4. So let me start with the 45 degrees and just add pi over 4 each time. So starting from 1, 0, this could be considered as 0 radians. So adding pi over 4, adding pi over 4. So at 90 degrees we have 2 pi over 4, in other words pi over 2. Add pi over 4, again this was 2 pi over 4, so now 3 pi over 4. 4 pi over 4, in other words pi, 5 pi over 4, 6 pi over 4, reduced down to 3 pi over 2, and then 7 pi over 4, followed by 8 pi over 4, or reduced to 2 pi. Okay, so those are all the 45 degrees. So let's move to the 30 degrees. So every 30 degrees we're moving, that's pi over 6. So pi over 6, go to 60 degrees, that's 2 pi over 6, or pi over 3. Another 60 is 3 pi over 6, or pi over 2. 4 pi over 6, reduce that to 2 pi over 3. 5 pi over 6. 6 pi over 6, or pi. 7 pi over 6. 8 pi over 6, reduce 4 pi over 3. Okay, so that's 8 pi over 6. 9 pi over 6, already reduced. 10 pi over 6, 5 pi over 3. 11 pi over 6. And then 12 pi over 6, or 2 pi. Okay, so there's our unit circle. All the ordered pairs are filled in. All the angles, degrees, and radians are filled in. There we go.